My name is Nathan Montgomery, and I'm the executive director and one of the original founders of Salt and Light here in Champaign and Urbana. And we're an organization, a ministry that was founded to really try and address some of the access to basic resources that a lot of folks in our community struggle with on a daily basis. And for us, initially, that meant a food pantry, a clothing closet, many of the one-way giving systems or models that you may be used to. In 2014, however, we transitioned away from that into a model that we felt like really affirmed the dignity of the individual and their capacity while providing developmental opportunities for them to grow more and more into who it is God had created them to be. And so with that, we transitioned away from handing out bags of groceries and articles of clothing to a model where our participants come in and volunteer. And for every hour they work, they earn store credit that they can use to shop in our grocery and thrift, acquiring the resources their family needs through the use of their own skills, gifts, and abilities. And so we've been at this now for 16 years. And during that time, we've seen a lot of growth and a lot of change in our community and in our organization as a whole. One of the things that has actually been a positive response in that we know folks want to participate in this model rather than standing in the food pantry lines that we're used to, has been the growth that has actually also been hard for us to keep up with financially. You know, we went from, in Champaign, we saw about 175 households a month who were earning credit and spending it to over 360 in June, to where this year alone we're on pace to provide over $400,000 in store credit to folks that are working and earning it, with about 75% of that credit usually being spent on groceries. Yeah, so we saw a lot of success with what we were doing in Champaign, and we knew that for folks in Urbana, especially Southeast Urbana, accessing what we provided in Champaign was really difficult. A minimum of an hour on the bus each way really was an obstacle for many to participate in those opportunities that we provided. And so we had a lot of conversations with folks in the community. We really explored what that would look like on a larger scale for us to transition to a new location over here, and really what that would mean in every way, shape, or form for us as an organization. And after we kind of waded through a lot of those and put a lot of time and thought and energy in planning that out, we moved forward. And so within that, we knew we were going to have to raise some capital to offset the costs, the expenses associated with a launch like this. And unfortunately, there's a whole host of circumstances that contributed to that not happening the way we thought it would. And with that, we kind of started in a hole with this new location and this new opportunity. While things had continued to grow and progress here, starting off with that hole and kind of slower than expected sales in the grocery as people learned more about our model and how it worked, really kind of had us behind the 8 ball, to where we find ourselves now in a position with this anchor of these outstanding debt and expenses that are really weighing us down and keeping us from moving forward. Even in the midst of that, we've seen incredible success with our unique model here in Urbana, where as an organization, we moved into uncharted territory for most nonprofits, with 80% of our overall budget being self-funded through the retail operations, people shopping, the grocery, the thrift, with another 17% that's coming through contributions from the community already. So we've already realized things within this social entrepreneur model that most are just now wrestling with in a lot of other communities across the country. But we find ourselves in a position where we need the community's help. You know, as we've sought to serve and minister here for the last 16 years, we need now folks to come alongside us and help ensure that we're here for the long term to serve those who are vulnerable and in poverty in our community. Yeah, so since we've launched Urbana, obviously it's been a pretty difficult road for all of us that are a part of making Salt and Light go on a daily basis. But in the midst of that, we've seen so many incredible things happen. We've seen God move in so many different ways and in so many different lives. As folks come in and participate, it's not even most of the time about the stuff that they're receiving. It's about the opportunity for them to contribute something of themselves. More often than not, people don't thank us for the groceries or the clothing or the things that they access. What they thank us for is the opportunity to work. And I believe the reason for that is every person wants to feel valuable, wants to feel as though they have a purpose, right? And especially for those who are on the margins, those who are maybe in poverty, those who are older, those who have physical, social, emotional, or developmental disabilities, they're often treated as though they can't, as though they don't have something to offer, something to contribute. And so many of the folks that we see here now often fall into one of those categories. And so for them, just having an opportunity to really experience community, right? Experience healthy relationships and a place that is constantly lifting them up, while at the same time contributing to that and then acquiring the resources they need through their own capacity, is deeply meaningful. For us, you know, it's the people, it's the stories, it's the folks who talk about how their lives have been changed, how their self-perceptions have been altered just by their experiences of being here. That's what we're talking about continuing. That's what you're partnering and making possible.
We've had donors who have large capacity and donors who have very small capacity, and each one of those things brings us closer to our goal. We have a participant who is here even earning credit, who's been with us for many years, and she, out of the goodness of her heart, looked through her house to find something that she thought was meaningful, and ended up bringing in a stuffed animal rabbit to sell in the store, as well as making a small financial contribution, which I know for her was a very large sacrificial contribution. And the next day she came back and her stuffed animal had sold, and just the feeling of being part of bringing us closer to our goal was just so special to each one of us that are here. And we know that there are many community members here who could contribute something that will just bring us closer to being able to get back on our feet and being able to serve well and continue to grow in our services.